welcome to The Bite, your go-to source for all things nerdy.
In bite-sized form.
My name's Jameson Borak.
I'm Marion Mason, and this is Marcus, and he's joining us for the Film Bite.
All right, so today we'll be talking about Disney's latest animated feature, Wreck-It Ralph.
I'm gonna wreck it! Yeah!
All right, Marcus, what did you think about the latest film?
I loved the movie. I thought all the little references it made, it was perfect for a video gamer like me. I think it was a better Pixar film than, well, it's not a Pixar film, but I think it was a better Pixar-style film than Brave was earlier this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it definitely didn't really have a feel of a traditional Disney film. I mean, they did, like, spoiler alert already, we'll give it out there. They do kind of sneak in a little bit of a princess plot towards the end, but regardless, it still didn't feel like a Disney film. It was like a buddy comedy, which you don't see very frequently as like the main characters of a film.
There was a little bit of romance thrown in. There's a little bit of like the crazy evildoer thrown in, but like not to the extent where it was like overly Disney like fairy tale plot. Which was great.
Definitely.
No, it was really enjoyable. And to be honest, I felt more than feeling that it was a Disney film or a Pixar film, you really felt that the director of it actually used to work on Simpsons and Futurama. That's where he spent many years. He did Marge vs. the Monorail, Jurassic Park, and you could totally feel that influence being in it. There were so many quick gags and bits that you wouldn't catch.
He definitely knew his audience.
Oh, yeah.
They all, the writers and everyone, like knew their audience and knew them. And I actually caught a lot of little things in there that maybe the audience didn't catch because the writers are such geeks themselves. There were a lot of Japanese references in there. Do you remember the security guard in front of the bakery? That is a Japanese mascot for a cream puff company.
Really?
And so when he's like snoring and saying like cream puff or whatever, Beard Papa is a cream puff company in Japan. And maybe a lot of people in the US wouldn't know that, but like
I didn't.
I have no clue.
Yeah, things like that were thrown in there, so it's like you can tell that this was made by geeks for geeks of geeks. It was great.
Yeah, it was. I mean, from the fact, like, I never thought in my entire life that I would see Sonic the Hedgehog giving blunt exposition in like in a feature film. Like, that was insane. Where they had like the poster and Sonic is like clearly explaining the rules of the universe in Game Central Station. I was like, what is going on here? Like, this is absurd.
I love that little bit, like when I guess it was Ralph, when he was sort of like going to the Sugar Rush Road, he got injured and it had the little, like he was flashing the rings, you know, they flew off like that. Those little
when
things.
Sonic gets hit.
That was so clever, and
It's
it was
all
just like
of the
there.
little bits like that reference like the actual gameplay of these games that we all used to play as a kid. Even at the beginning when they're just going through the arcade games. Oh, like there's, get a gun, there's like Battleship, or like there's, all of these just random games.
It really was the Who Framed Roger Rabbit of video games, which is like incredible. But I did feel like one thing they had to do is, since there were so many jokes and a lot of the humor was more so for gamers and more young adults and such, I felt like they sometimes had to use Sarah Silverman's character, Vanellope, had to have a little bit of too many poop jokes, in my opinion, in order to kind of balance out the fact that no one's understanding that ring joke was what it is, or what's a Q*bert, like.
Like
Q*bert.
Yeah, more geared towards little kids with her character, definitely. Yeah, I would agree with that.
I mean, and that was a hit for them.
But I'm really amazed. It's done the best that a Disney animated non-Pixar film has like ever done for Disney, which is like incredible. It's made so much, and it's working for both audiences. Both adults and kids are really getting a lot out of it, and it's amazing that this film got made. I mean, Bowser's in a support group. It really. Man, it was great. Although I did kind of almost feel like if you watch the trailer for this, it is like the best parts of the film cut down to 3 minutes.
But the part with the Mentos when he's diving in, the
end.
Iron Giant,
the Superman,
that kind of just throwing in. Oh, it was so good.
It was great.
It was kind of an homage to Toy Story in that way. A little bit, kind of like
with the whole
holding hands and like going to your doom for
Toy Story.
But just like accepting it.
I almost teared up at that point. That was
I was really surprised at how well the emotion was. But I'm almost like one of my favorite parts of the whole film was the idea when King Candy says that like if Vanellope wins the race, that she'll die because she won't be able to lose the game and it'll be ruined. And like I really wish they like kept with that idea because like that's such a deep, complex idea for an animated Hollywood film, and I was a little disappointed that then they went and made King Candy just evil. But you know what? It was so much fun.
You have to resolve it in some way.
Yeah,
just because it's a Disney movie, just because it's a kids movie in general, it has to have a happy
ending. It's not necessarily a kids.
They're not going to kill the tiny candy child.
No. I know. And I was so entertained that I didn't even care in the end because it was just so much fun. And Alec Tudyk did a great job as King Candy, giving like his weird Mad Hatter version.
I've definitely heard that voice before, but I didn't realize it was Alan Tudyk.
Yeah. There's Mindy Kaling had like a small role. She was the head of like the bullies, and I was like, what?
Okay,
like, what a weird cast.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But John C. Reilly, my God, we need to talk about Ralph. We barely talked about Ralph.
Yeah.
Incredible
So
performance.
good.
Best voice acting
Great
of the year
character. Oh
by
my
far.
God.
All of the casting
great.
was pretty spot on. I know you had some problems. Why don't you discuss your problems with the casting?
I'm not a big fan of Jane Lynch as Sergeant Calhoun, right? It took me out of the movie a little bit because it was just so much of Jane Lynch doing her Jane Lynch thing that I was taken out. And I was afraid I'd have the same problem with Felix Jr. with
Jack McBrayer.
Yeah, with that. But he totally won me over in it. His performance was incredible.
Oh, yeah.
But I couldn't get past Sergeant Calhoun. But I still
Yeah.
loved it. I still had so much fun.
I loved all the characters sort of the same. I don't know. I feel like their actors sort of portrayed their characters in that world. So I
Yeah.
thought that worked very well for me, at least.
Yeah, I like Sergeant Calhoun just because she was such a satire on like the whole thing where it's like she's programmed with the most epic and sad backstory ever, and that's just like so perfect and like makes so much sense. But I almost wonder whether or not they wrote the role with her with Jane Lynch in mind as the character, or whether or not they just like found her in casting and decided to make it work. That
It definitely,
way.
regardless, feels like a film
It's a
where like,
very
you can't change the
role.
casting for it.
Yeah.
It's very. I mean, like Ralph does not work without John C. Reilly's amazing job,
so good.
and
True,
it was so
very
good
true.
that I would love to see more of this. Give me more of this world. Let's find out what happens here. But I loved it.
Sequel, get on it.
It was
I
great.
mean, the
Good, not
stories
great.
the stories can go on forever. You just keep game jumping, more games, new games.
Yeah, they had to cut one of them out, Easy Living 2, which is like a Sims GTA
boy.
crossover, which would have been really interesting, but
Yeah.
oh well.
We'll see what they do with it.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to our Flicks picks of the week. All right. So remember, you can watch all of these movies on Netflix Instant. So Marcus, what is your Flicks pick of the week?
My Flicks pick of the week is Kick-Ass. It's about this kid played by Aaron Johnson. He dresses up as a superhero. He goes out, gets his butt kicked. He can't feel any pain anymore, so he goes out and does it again. He starts to get better at it. The movie includes a colorful cast of characters like Hit Girl, played by Chloe Moretz, Nicolas Cage, Big Daddy, Christopher Mintz-Plasse, just a whole load of characters. It's just a really fun and a very violent movie. I would not have your kids watch this at all. It's not a fun superhero
For all you
movie.
viewers who have kids out there watching The Bite, don't watch Kick-Ass with
Don't
them.
watch
Yes.
Kick-Ass.
So,
Watch Kick-Ass alone. There's a
avoid
lot
that.
of really colorful blood and everything.
Yeah,
It's a
but
great
really
Very
fun
violent,
movie,
awesome.
and I'm looking forward to the sequel. Although
Definitely.
Matthew Vaughn, the director of the first one, isn't involved. He's busy working on some other things.
Some other
maybe
things.
we don't know. Rumors, but yeah, I really loved Kick-Ass. Kick-Ass was great.
Definitely.
Absolutely. That's a good one.
Yeah.
All right. My Flicks picks of the week is The Fall. It's an incredibly underrated movie, and I think that anyone who really enjoys film should go and see it. It's directed by Tarsem Singh. It stars Lee Pace and this little girl who, it's set in the 1920s in a hotel, not a hotel, it's a hotel that was converted into a hospital. And Lee Pace plays a stunt man who, during this big, huge stunt, gets paralyzed from the waist down. So he's depressed and suicidal and is trying to make a connection with this young girl who's also in the hospital by telling her this elaborate story. And the story they shot over the world, like all over the world, the most gorgeous places on earth you could possibly imagine. And so the filming is just nuts. It's gorgeous. It's colorful. It's got a great story, great characters.
Does Lee Pace bake pies for the girl?
He does not bake pies. He
Doesn't?
is not
No.
a pie maker. But
Okay, unfortunately.
It would have been delicious.
I haven't seen it, but Lee Pace
But
is
you
wonderful.
should go
so-
see it. Everyone should
Okay.
go see it.
Big fan
It's
of
a
him
great
and
story.
Marmaduke,
It's
so,
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yep.
All
Motors
right.
is cool. I like
So let's
that.
end the episode like we always do with the bad guy affirmation.
Okay. Ready? Hold hands.
Lead us.
Okay.
All right.
I'm
I'm
bad,
bad,
and
and
that's
that's
good.
good.
I will
I'll
never be good,
and
and
that's
that's
not
not
bad.
bad. There's no one I'd rather be than me. All right.
Thank you
Good
very
job,
much. We'll
guys.
see you guys next time. I'm gonna wreck it.
I want to wreck it.
Gonna rock it!
Wreck it real.
Yum.